Today, on Guess What I Found Out, we are going to talk about the single most stared at, most argued about, most spectacularly misunderstood square inch of biology on the entire planet. Your skin. Specifically, its colour. Because here is the thing nobody told you in school. The colour of human skin is not a fact about people. It is a 300,000-year-old weather report. Let me introduce tonight's star. Buried in your DNA, there is a setting, a sort of biological brightness slider, and I'm going to call it the melanin dial. Your ancestors did not turn this dial. The sun did. And the story of how the sun spent a few 100,000 years fiddling with the melanin dial is honestly one of the best things I have ever found out. So stick around, Curious George. First, let's rewind, way back. Our species, Homo sapiens, shows up in the fossil record around 300,000 years ago. And not in some single tidy birthplace either. The oldest fossils we have come from Jebel Irhoud in Morocco, which is the northwest corner of Africa, and finds are scattered across the whole continent. So when somebody tells you humanity began in one specific village, gently inform them that we were a Pan-African operation from the start. We were everywhere. We were the group project that somehow actually worked. Now, in the bright, high ultraviolet world of equatorial Africa, the melanin dial sat turned way up for a very good reason. Melanin is basically built-in sunscreen. More melanin means more protection. And here is the part that sounds made up, but is completely real. Strong sunlight destroys a nutrient called folate, which you need to literally build DNA and grow healthy babies. So, in a high UV environment, darker skin protected folate, and that was a survival advantage worth keeping. The dial stayed up. Not for looks, for folate. Romantic? I know. And before anyone writes me an angry comment, let me add the honest footnote here. The tidy version of this story says the very first humans were uniformly dark and everyone lightened later. The real version, the one the newest genetics keeps whispering, is messier. Deep in our family tree, there were probably both darker and lighter variants floating around, getting sorted by local sunlight rather than starting from one single colour. So the melanin dial was never set to one factory default. It was always being adjusted, region by region, sunbeam by sunbeam. I am telling you this because I respect you too much to hand you the cartoon version. If you are enjoying watching the sun, micromanage your great-great-great to the 1000th. Grandparents, do me a favour and subscribe to Guess What I Found Out, because this channel is basically a support group for people who can no longer look at normal things without learning their entire backstory. Okay, fast forward. Somewhere around 60,000 to 70,000 years ago, a wave of humans walks out of Africa, through the Arabian Peninsula and into the Middle East. And out there, the sun is a little less aggressive. Now we hit a plot twist, because there was a problem with turning the dial down. That same sunlight that wrecks folate also lets your skin make vitamin D, which you need for bones. Less sun means less vitamin D. So at higher latitudes, skin that was too dark suddenly had a downside. The pressure flipped. Enter the first gene with a name like a robot's license plate. KITLG. In this migrating population, a change in KITLG nudged melanin production down, and lighter skin started to spread. And here is a clue that this really happened on the way out of Africa. That KITLG variant shows up today in people of Middle Eastern, European, Asian, and Native American ancestry. And it is essentially absent in people of sub-Saharan African ancestry. The dial got handed a new instruction the moment the sun got weaker. Meanwhile, do not forget the other travellers. A separate group hugged the coast, went south along the Arabian Peninsula, through southern India, all the way to Australia. They stayed in high sun country the entire trip. They never got the memo to turn the dial down, and they kept darker skin, independently, because their sun never quit. 2 roads, 2 sun exposures, 2 settings on the same dial. Now the genetics get gloriously nerdy, so let me speedrun the dial's control panel. In populations heading into Europe, 2 transporter proteins with thrilling names, SLC34A5 and SLC45A2, picked up changes that crank pigment down, which was handy during long, dark, vitamin D-starved winters. A different group, moving northeast, tweaked a gene called MFSD12, which sits at the fork in the road between dark eumelanin and lighter reddish pheomelanin. And both European and Asian ancestral populations, completely separately, dialed back genes called OCA2 and MC1R. That word separately matters. Lighter skin was not invented once and shared. It got reinvented multiple times by different gene roots in different places because the sun kept giving the same assignment. Less UV up here, adjust accordingly. Here is the moment I want you to actually stop and weigh in, because this one honestly has no clean answer. We've just watched skin color get built over and over purely as a response to sunlight and vitamin D and folate, with no biological dividing lines anywhere, just a smooth gradient. And yet humans have spent centuries treating skin color as if it were a deep category of person. So, tell me in the comments, if a trait is this skin deep, this literally weather-driven, why do you think our brains are so stubbornly wired to read so much meaning into it? I want your real reasoning, not just a yes or a no. Make your case down there. Because by about 10,000 years ago, when most people had settled into their regions, the result was almost suspiciously neat. Plot human skin tone against latitude, and you get a near straight line. Close to the equator, darker. Toward the poles, lighter. It is not a coincidence, and it is not a hierarchy. It is a graph of how much sun your ancestors' home address received. The melanin dial, set by a postal code that is tens of thousands of years old. And, one more thing to keep you humble. This whole melanin system, this dial, is not even a human invention. Melanin runs across nearly the entire animal kingdom. The same basic pigment painting a leopard's spots and a crow's feathers, and the ink a squid fires at a predator, is the pigment doing the math on your skin. Just think about that for a moment. The stuff that makes a panther look like a shadow with opinions is the exact same chemistry that decides whether you tan or burn. Skin color feels enormous to us culturally, but biologically it is one of the most ordinary, ancient, recycled tools in all of life. We did not get a special pigment. We got the standard issue one, set to a local value. So, that is the melanin dial. Not a label, not a ranking, just an old, honest answer to a simple question every one of your ancestors faced. How much sun is falling on me right now? If your brain is fully blown and you'd like it blown again 3 times a week, hit like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so the next one finds you. See you there, Curious George.